Going on, guys? Peepo here, and today's video is going to be about this pocket here in this head, and that is the recently released 3.0 by 10 Minute Traditional. 3.0 just refers to the iteration, not so much the specific pocket. This is their new style, way, product, whatever you want to call it. But so I was part of the testing team, and I kind of ended up getting a little late on the request as to which one I wanted. So I didn't get exactly the one I wanted, but this one turned out pretty fine either way. And I requested the PETA, and let's see, make sure I count this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I requested the 8 diamond PETA, and depending on the number of diamonds, you get different twists for the PETAs. And they have a couple different versions of pockets there. They have Classic, they have PETA, I think they have Trad-X, and I don't know if they offer O-channeled pockets for 3.0. But basically the 3.0 is an improvement. They shifted things around, they improved upon attachments, a little bit on their turnarounds and stuff like that. But basically I'm just going to give you a really quick overview of what I like and dislike about it, which is usually what I do, right? So I threw this into my String King Legend Senior head that I have. Nice dye job there by myself. But so pocket is fully removable, so if the head breaks, I can take the pocket and put it into another head or the same exact head and move on with my business, like you would with your favorite piece of like fade mesh or whatever. If it was thrown fiber, ECD striker, whatever, anything with colored mesh, you can do the same more or less with a 10 Minute Traditional or any removable top string pocket from a leather pocket. Now, before I really get into it, thing is, if you guys have a traditional and does not have a removable top string, it's okay if you break the head. You don't have to throw away the entire pocket, especially if it's only a season or two old. Get you a hacksaw and cut the plastic. If the head's already broken, there's no reason to worry about doing anything to the head. Break or cut the scoop so you can get the pocket out, and then you can turn it into a removable top string pocket for any traditional on the market, pretty much. So with that said, this is a removable top string. The sidewalls are removable as well, like pretty much any pocket that you have nowadays. As far as materials go, from what I have assessed, as well as talking to 10 Minute Traditional, it's Gimalax and String King, and I believe the leathers are Gopherlax leathers. They feel like it. They don't feel as cruddy as some leathers out there. But so it's Gimalax strings, String King shooters, so the cottons and the nylon here are both String King, so that works out pretty well because that sort of material for stringing is really good in my opinion. Gimalax is one of the longest running string company material supplier for stringing that I can think of. So their stuff is really good. I mean, they use just the regular sidewalls for the top and the sides. When you get this, it comes in a rather simple package. It doesn't have to be super fancy. With the sidewalls, most of the time, as far as I've seen and I've experienced with 10 Minute Traditional, when you get the pocket, it's not in a head if you don't order it in a head that they have. The sidewall string will be looped straight through in one single fashion through the loops of the outer tracks here, and then basically what you do is they have a couple tutorials on how to do it and so on and so forth, but basically what you do is you lay it down where you want it on the sidewall, and depending if you follow that or not. Really, you want to try and make it similar to how a mesh pocket goes, but you don't want it super tight those first few. But basically, you'll wrap around the string around the sidewall as well as that string that's going through those outer loops. And then as far as the shooters go, you can install them however you want. It's basically like a piece of mesh, but a traditional. And from there, once you install it, you want to, for what I like to do is, if it's a pre-done pocket, make sure you have it pretty much set up how you want sidewall wise, and then put a ball and knife through it, or in my case, since the String King Legend, you can put it in like this with a pocket stretcher and push it out to where the depth that you want, and then adjust. You pull the leathers tighter, shift down your loops, feed through your outer track area. Other than that, there's not too much you have to do as far as adjusting for this pocket so far. I mean, I've had it for a couple months now, and I haven't really had to do too much to it. And I mean, I've been using it indoors. I've gotten it wet and all that stuff, and it hasn't really changed too much, which you can give benefit to the leathers for that as well. Doesn't stretch too much, breaks in really easily. My thing is, though, as far as not having to really adjust too much with how the pocket already came, and this kind of starts going into the somewhat negatives, I feel that the top areas for the leathers, like the turnarounds, aren't as tight as they could probably be before shipping it out. I feel like that could be a little tighter. The turnarounds up here could have a little bit less material going through them. But then again, that's something, if you're somewhat of an experienced stringer, you can fix that. But that's something that I noticed. I brought it up to them, and they said it's one of those, I guess it's just one of those things that if you have a bunch of people doing it, or a few people doing it, and you're doing a lot of them, that quantity goes over quality. But that's not really a huge negative. That's not like, oh, don't get this because of this. It's just one of those little things that you can fix yourself, or that they could probably fix themselves as well. They've moved away from, I don't believe they ever put holes in the leather for their pre-dones for regular pockets like this, but it is one piece of string. It is a single string pocket, so it doesn't have a bunch of extra frills all over the place and whatnot. You can pretty much put it in any head, and as long as you know what you're doing and follow instructions that they give. The leathers have plenty of extra, so you can do almost any tie-off, and really, there's really no huge complaints, unless you get a pocket that you thought you would like, and it ends up not being the one that you want, that works for you. I mean, I usually don't like heads or pockets that have a whole lot of diamonds, because then it kind of takes away from the fact that a traditional can have more hold than mesh. So I ended up having to get the 8 diamond, which I thought wasn't going to have enough hold for me, but it ended up being enough after I adjusted and everything like that. But yeah, it breaks in really fast as long as you do it correctly. I've done a couple videos on break-ins. I'm sure they have some sort of tutorial on break-ins as well. But 3.0 overall, if you had to have me give you a number out of 10, I would probably give it an 8, 8.5, just because, I mean, it's a pre-done. I full-heartedly believe that you shouldn't do pre-dones. Like, it's great product and everything like that, but bottom of my heart, you should really string it yourself, or the pocket should be specifically strung to that head. I don't really like removable top strings unless that initial head that the pocket was in breaks. So just because there's all sorts of little very small things that can go wrong, and unnecessary adjustments, because if you're stringing the head from start to finish with the pocket's going to be built for that head. It's not going to just be like, slap this on and go. because traditional pockets act very differently than a mesh pocket. So give and take, there's positive and negatives, but personally, I would say have somebody string it from start to finish into a head for you, or do it yourself. But if you don't have that option, or you don't feel like you can trust somebody with that option, this is a good substitute for that, especially if you've never used traditionals before and you've never strung one. This is a really good way to get introduced to the traditional world. So 10-minute traditional 3.0, got to give it an 8.5 out of 10 if you had to give it a number. I recommend it. It's pretty good. And yeah, personally I like classical traditionals, so the asymmetrical ones, but this is symmetrical. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you like this video, and go check out 10-minute traditional. They got a lot of options over there for different pockets. Make sure you really think about which one you want, and maybe ask a few questions of other people of that style of pocket before you be like, oh, that's really cool, I'm just going to get that. Do a little research. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later.